and I'm using a brand. It's a French and Canadian product, Lalvin Wines, major wine yeast producer. We get this at our little winemaker shop here in town. And I'll be telling you a little bit more about what that yeast is in a little bit. There's several varieties of yeast that you can use for different purposes. This is acid blend. You could use either citric acid or acid blend. The acid blend is appropriate for the wine we're making today. There's something else called a yeast nutrient. It's kind of granular. Really, this is a, I don't know, it's ammonium phosphate. It is and urea. It's a food grade product that really stimulates the yeast productivity, and it's an excellent additive. It's not required, but I like to use it. Now the next item I'd like to introduce to you is a bag. This is a straining bag, and it's the kind of thing that you would get at your winemaker shop. And when you're making fruit wines or anything that has pulp, you're going to use a bag like this. This bag fits inside the primary fermenter, and you put any kind of fruit that you have into the bag. And then when the primary fermentation period is finished, you can lift most of the residual pulp out, and what's left is the digested parts of the fruit, which are sitting in the bottom, and that's part of the lees. Anyway, this is important because in our recipe today, we're going to use a little bit of fruit as well as some grape juice. And what I wanted to show you next, we talked about the yeast and the specific gravity. What we have here is a little chart that gives the measurements here of a specific gravity rating, and these numbers essentially occur here. Here is a 1,000. It looks like 1,000, but it's 1.0, and this next one is 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. So this is 1.010, 1.020, 1.030, etc. Now where we're going to start today is down here on this line, which says 1.095, which requires so much sugar, about 2.5 pounds or so per gallon, and it's going to yield approximately a potential alcohol of 12.9% alcohol. And generally speaking, most of the wines that I make usually result around right at 10%. I dilute it a little bit more than, and that's my choice. Remember, we're making wine for our own enjoyment, and I don't like a heavy alcohol wine. I like one that's just kind of very mellow and just right. And you'll get used to it. I mean, after you've made wine for 30 years like I have, you sort of know what you like. And so this is one of the wines that I really like. And the last thing that I wanted to kind of point out is that you can go online and you can go to this Lalvin web page, and I printed this off on a color printer, but it actually gives all of their various yeast products that they have. Now this is the one we're going to be using here, which is called 71B, and this is the yeast packet for 71B, and this is actually good for 6 gallons, but we're going to use the whole packet anyway for the 3-gallon batch. Now this tells you what types of wine are serviceable or are appropriate for these different yeasts. Now we're going to be making a white wine, but it's not a dry white. The yeast called D47 has 4 stars for dry white, but we're going to be using the 71B because let me tell you, it gives you an explanation really of why the properties of the yeast and what they yield. If we look up the 71B here, basically what it says, it's used primarily by professionals for young wines such as Vin Nouveau, which is a a red wine, and etc. But it has produces a significant esters, which is the flavors and the aromas, which I like, and I think help accentuate the fruity aspect of what we're doing. So I've elected to use this wine, and I have before with a white. That, to me, is an enhancing feature of this particular yeast. So at this point, we need to shift over and get busy and start making our wine.